Welcome, everybody, to another episode of, I guess, Beyond Haunted Vermont again, because my name is Paul Oski, and with us is returning guest Bruce Hallenbeck. And Hallenbeck, I should say. God, for some reason, I want to say back. So, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to say welcome back, Bruce.
Well, well, yes, Hallenbeck is back. That's what's going on. So it's great to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, yeah, so I guess real quick, I mean, it's been 4 months, I think. Yeah, like December 8th. First off, I just want to point out for those that may remember Bruce calling out a kitty cat by the name Cricket. May Cricket rest in peace. Because Cricket
Mm.
kind of was on that last time, even though there was no video, but now there sort of is. But anyway, the only other shout out I want to kind of do real quick, Bruce, is um for even the viewers, I guess. This is the original book that I remembered your name from. So this was my dad's
Yep.
copy, The Monsters of the North Woods. So yeah, so I have it. And then
That's a collector's item now, I think.
I don't know. Well, maybe this one is, but I know
Yeah.
I've seen one that's like $18 online though. But lastly, real quick,
Well, I've seen them for
I
like $100.
Oh, really? No, that's crazy then. But yeah, so
Yeah.
here's a shout out to Bruce, his book, and here's the documentary that is now officially out that we were kind of talking about last time. So yeah, there's that, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
indeed.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say I'm very pleased with the documentary. I think they did a great job with it, and it's streaming now on Prime, and I've
Yep.
had some very nice feedback.
Yeah, Prime, Google, iTunes, probably wherever you can stream. Pretty much, if I had to guess, Vimeo or Vimo, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just, get your copies from smalltownmonsters.com. Not like I'm getting paid to say that, but I'm just saying it. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
right.
yeah. So, Bruce, um, I wanted to clarify with you real quick, if you don't mind. Last time we had for some reason a weird audio glitch, even though I could understand what you were saying. But it was almost like as you were trying to talk about it, it was like the audio started to. So anyway, what I wanted to
Hmm.
clarify was when we were talking about the blob. I
Yeah.
believe you were saying you were 9 or 10 years old with that encounter, right?
Yep. Right.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to clarify that because whatever that was about. Now I want to do something a little bit differently, Bruce, before we maybe go into anything that you would like to share. So I wrote down because I know you do your work like as far as movies. You're an author, hence the Monsters of the Northwood. You have some movies, Vampire. I think that's how you pronounce that one. And then I
Right.
think um it was part of a series. I forget the name of the series, maybe Haunted for all I know, but it was like Haunted New York. It had like a
Oh,
crocodile in the sewer.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was Stackpole Books a few years ago.
Okay.
They did this series, and I co-wrote Monsters of New Jersey with Lauren Coleman, and then I wrote Monsters of New York on my own. And yeah, it
Okay.
was a good experience. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Um Now I guess what I want to do with this question is because of that with your work, especially with your childhood stories that we kind of talked about last time, did any of that childhood stories or the events that occurred inspire you for your work, like your movies or even your books in general?
Um, well, to a certain extent, yes. I mean, I've always been very interested in the paranormal and cryptozoology and all those things. And then I started writing fantasy fiction or horror fiction when I was 19 or so. and that was some of my first published stuff was fiction. But later on, after the whole Kinderhook Creature thing
Hmm.
happened, I started writing about the things that really happened to me, and that took me in a whole different direction. And I ended up writing a lot of nonfiction books.
Right, right. Um, so I guess uh, what I want to read into with this is because of you. Correct me too, but you were like the director and stuff like that. Like you wrote the movie. Did you write and direct the movies too? I'm sorry. I think I remember something like
Yes,
that.
yeah, I've written and directed several films. I
Hmm.
also act in other people's films. Um, so I've always loved filmmaking. I was making my own backyard movies when I was a teenager, and
Very nice.
I never really grew up. So here I am. I'm still doing the same stuff.
Hey, I mean, if I could do that, man, with back in the old days, just grab a VHS camera and just record like that again, just to have fun. I mean, so be it. Now, so I guess what I want to ask, and I've been trying to figure out how to word this question for somebody like you. I know how I would present it if I were trying to say like in a debate wise. So the question I want to say to you as a writer, filmmaker is um when it comes to trying to create movie monsters, and I guess you could put this as an opinion even for the old black and white, because I mean, how else would we have gotten the referrals, maybe? But what is your opinion on like these monster movies where they have this monster, but it's almost like where do they get the the referrals of how this monster should look? Do you think it's actually based on these real accounts of these cryptids because of the eyewitness account, and therefore because of the descriptions they give, they can then make that creature for the film? I guess if you're trying to get what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the monster and the movie, but some of them certainly have been based on real cryptids. There's actually a very very fine movie called The Abominable Snowman that was made in 1957. It's
Yes.
a British film uh, starring Peter Cushing and Forrest Tucker, and it's by far the best movie on that subject, the best fiction film, and it includes a lot of details in which the writer obviously did his homework, and a lot of details about what the Yeti really looks like and how he acts and what it might be. And it's a really well done film. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I own it. Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Then you know what I'm talking about. It's a very thoughtful, intelligent movie.
Oh yeah.
So it's not your typical monster movie. I've seen movies about the Yeti that are has the Yeti tearing people apart and stuff, and that's not what that creature's about. So that's one of the few films that really did use it as a backdrop. There aren't too
Right.
many like that. I don't think. I think most monster movies take some kind of fantasy creation and just make it as fantastic as possible, um,
Yep.
without much regard for any factual background there.
Right. Yeah, there's another movie that I own too that 80s, I think. The black creature, black lake creature, black
Oh,
something.
creature from Black Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, creature from Black Lake.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't mind
Yep.
that one, but I think
No,
that's what
that's
you
pretty
were
good.
talking about.
Yeah, that's a kind of a low budget movie, but it's pretty well done, and I kind of like that film too. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was just because it was just something different for that time, and that's why I enjoyed it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe that's why.
And it was kind of low key, and
Oh yeah.
that's what made it different. I think.
Yep. 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 And I think it was just the some of the acting near the end was just hilarious, in my own opinion. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but to me that goes to show that at least those the film directors and the actors were at least having fun making it, which is fine because
Yeah.
in my own personal opinion, if you ain't having fun doing something, then what's the point? Then you're kind of just like, come on, get it over with, So
Well, I think
yeah.
if you have fun making a film, then it shows, and the audience has fun watching it. Generally speaking.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, and at least with those movies, those were practical effects. Whereas
Mm.
another movie that I'll suggest, which I'm pretty sure it's just all CGI, but it's based on the real event from France. It's the Brotherhood of the Wolf. That was a good one, based off
Right.
the real story.
Yeah, that's a fun movie. I mean, it's way over the top, and I mean, it certainly exaggerates greatly what happened, but it is
Totally.
based on a real incident. Actually, I was just watching a documentary about that the other day, and it, it certainly took off on the real events. And to this day, I don't think anybody really knows exactly what that thing was.
Nope.
So
Nope.
so that if that's the case, and if it's a mystery like that, then you can pretty much make any kind of movie,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
people can say, "Well, could be."
Yeah, it's just interesting, like just how all that works out. Like, I mean, you don't have to give too much thought into it, Bruce. But like when you were making your monster movie, were you taking it from like your folklore that you learned or research even, or like how were you wanting to create it in your own uh universe, like for your way of looking at these monsters?
Well, most of the horror fantasy movies that I've made have been, about vampires or ghosts or things of that nature. Now, I did make a movie called The Drowned, which was kind of based on the Shokan Reservoir. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the
Is
Shokan
that in New York?
Reservoir down this way, it's down in,
Yep.
not sure if it's Ulster County or where it is, um, but beneath the water of that reservoir is a town. There are buildings there, and apparently, the town was evacuated, and uh, then they flooded it on purpose and made it into a reservoir. So I kind of use that as a jumping off point for my film, The Drowned. Um, but I made it a little different. I had the people actually still living there when the place was flooded, and it was accidentally, and now the lake is haunted in my story. Um, so I embellished it a little bit, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have fun with it. Like, me and a couple people made a short film based off a lady in white hitchhiker here in West Rutland, and
Mm.
we were trying to figure out a backstory for the lady of how she got murdered, basically, or whatever happened, and so we couldn't find anything that would help like make a good backstory. So we just decided on a love triangle aspect. And next thing you know, um, I got back a response from the historical society from West Rutland, and they were talking about how well there used to be this street where these kids would meet up and almost be like a lover's lane. So it was just like
Mm.
perfect, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was just like whatever, it
Well,
worked.
it's interesting you should mention the ghostly hitchhiker because um, a movie that I wrote and directed years ago called Black Easter is finally coming out in the next few months,
That's
and
awesome.
it's an anthology film with four different stories in it. And one of the stories is called Resurrection Mary, and it's about the ghostly hitchhiker. Um, and I, added my own feelings to that, and so yeah, that was based on the very popular urban legend. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, there's a lot of hitchhiking, so I mean, doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was just I'm just curious because I've always wondered, like, even with older films like The Howling and American Werewolf in London, and all the good ones. It's like, well, where did they get these like ideas for the monster designs? Just like were they based on these real accounts? So I've always wanted to ask somebody like you too, because I mean, obviously, like we talked about, you made movies and stuff like that. So I appreciate your answers, Bruce.
Sure. Yeah, The Howling is a favorite of mine. And those werewolves in that movie were loosely based on old woodcuts of werewolves from the Middle Ages, when people really believed in werewolves. And I always liked the way they looked in that film, particularly.
Oh yeah, me too. Yep. Or Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yep.
That's another good one.
Yeah. Um, There's another one that I watched a few years ago. I just can't think of the name right now, but that one wasn't bad. It kind of reminded me of like The Howling, so it wouldn't surprise me if it had some sort of influence of the design. But it was like Boneyard something. I think I can't remember. If I
Mm,
find a name, I'll send it your way.
okay, yeah. There's a couple movies named with the name Boneyard in it. Not sure which one that would be.
Yeah, I think I own the copy, so when I find it, I'll send it your way to see if it rings a bell to you, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just curious. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have started out right now for this conversation, Bruce. Because I mean, we talked a little bit about the documentary last time, and anyway, what I guess we should start off with, now that it is out, and I know I've asked you this off the air before this, but I guess for those that may be wondering, how had the documentary been treating you now that it's out?
Well, it's interesting. Even before it came out, the trailer was running on, I don't know if it was YouTube or Prime or whatever, and a number of people here in town said they had seen the trailer. Like there's a bagel place I go to every morning, and the one of the gals who works in the bagel place said, "I saw the trailer." She said, "I didn't know you were in a movie." I said, "Well, yeah." Uh, and you know, she was quite amazed, and she actually found out that it was based on a book. So she bought the book, and she had me sign it and all that stuff. And then I was in our local Hannaford shopping supermarket the other day, and I was looking for, I forget what exactly, but I had to ask one of the employees where it was, and he looked at me and he said, "Are you Mr. Hallenbeck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I just wanted to tell you that my wife and I loved your documentary. Can I take a picture with you?" I said, "Okay." Um, so yes, he took a picture with me, and it's been received really well. It also got some good reviews online. So yeah, it's I think it's picking up steam actually. So I'm
Good.
real happy about that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
you and I kind of.
none of this I was just going to say none of this translates into big bucks for me, but we're not in this for money, are we? I mean, we're in this because we're fascinated with the subject matter,
And that's what it should be
and really,
about.
that's oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, uh, you kind of make me have a pet peeve about something that I'm trying to freeze. I'm trying to figure out how if I want to ask you about it, if, just because of your thoughts or what. But Maybe not this time. Maybe I'll just leave that question for now. But
Go
yeah, I
ahead,
have a
ask
pet
me.
peeve.
You can ask me anything.
Okay, all right, Bruce. Well, for those that are in it just for the money, let's just say, and
Yeah.
they just want the stories. They just want to collect the story, but they don't actually believe in the subjects because obviously more than one subject. How do you feel about that with people that pretty much just want to take your story just to put it in a book to then sell it?
Well, I think that's very much the wrong approach. I mean, I write about this stuff because if you've seen the documentary, and I think you have, right?
Yes.
Um, that it's been a part of my life since I was a child. Whether it was the blob, as we called it, or
Mhm.
UFOs or cryptids or whatever. It's always been a part of my life because I've experienced a lot of these things personally. And I think if you're just in this to make a few bucks, especially if you're using other people's stories, that's pretty unfair, and it's not. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay. I'll just yeah. There's something coming out, and this person had said something, and I remembered a few months back he said something else entirely. Oh,
Mm.
that's what kind of drew me back to this question. Like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. So
Mm.
I'm like, I remember you saying this, and now you're saying this. Like, what? So which one is it? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um.
there's a lot of hucksters out there.
Oh, totally.
They, they're just out to make a buck.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to say, I don't want anybody that's even listening to thinking I'm trying to say it because of your work. I'm just saying that there's somebody else. I just want to make the listener perfectly clear
Oh
that is
yeah,
why I'm saying that. Because I'm not
yeah.
accusing Bruce on that at all. Because I don't really think Bruce would be that type of guy anyway. Because it's he's writing about it, especially with the Monsters of the Northwood, which is technically from Paul and Robert Bartholomew and William Brand, whoever that was.
Right.
uh, I mean, I would almost want the book that I'm picking up, let's just say, to be like this is well in this case like with Bruce's book. This is his personal life, his adventures, his stories, and this is just Paul Bartholomew's work plus yours too, because I know you wrote the
Well, I wrote
Kinderhook
the
Creature.
chapter.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it's a nice collaboration project, if I can
Yeah.
say that. Um,
Sure. No, it was.
yeah, yeah, so Bruce, so since then, another weird question that I just want to throw out there is now with the documentary out, and I'm assuming you played it a few times in your very own house. Uh, had the had the environment of your house changed at all? And what I mean is like, have you noticed like a shift, like maybe like with your grandma, where maybe because of you having the documentary on, maybe it's like she watched it herself and you could feel like the change in your house.
Well, I feel like she's always around in some way or other, um, and my wife has felt that too, actually. Um, so I don't know. I wouldn't say there's been a dramatic shift. There was one time, actually a few months ago, after we shot the documentary, but before it was out. Um, we were My wife and I were sitting in the living room watching TV, and we have a little dog who is named Pip, and he's a little Shih Tzu Maltese mix, cute little guy, and he has a bunch of toys, and he had a ball that was underneath his bed, and his bed was elevated a little bit.
Oh, yep.
All of a sudden, this ball came rolling out from under the bed and stopped right in front of where I was sitting,
Mhm.
and I looked at my wife and I said, "Did you see that?" And she said, "Yeah." And you know, that's that's the latest strange thing that's happened in Hallenbeck House. So it goes on. It continues. You know.
Right, right. Right. Yeah, I remember you sharing that last time. I was just curious if there was anything different now because of it, being out and you possibly watching it there to finally, like, almost like in a way where, like, your grandmother was able to finally see the finished product as it should have been. So that's why I was asking if you saw any different change or felt any changes.
Yeah. I can't say that I really have, although I felt, watching the documentary that she probably knew about it and was watching it somehow,
Yeah.
um, and I think she was very happy about it. One thing that's a sad note that I have to mention is that since that documentary was filmed,
Uh-oh.
both of my parents have passed away, and they're both in the documentary. My mother and father have both passed away. My father uh, died just last week. Um, so, in a sense, this is a tribute to them as well. Um, and, you know, I'm glad that they were
They were be able.
immortalized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
totally. Just like your grandmother. Um, First
right.
off, Bruce, I'm so sorry about that. But like you just said, they're immortalized now
Yeah.
in that documentary. Do you,
Yeah.
uh, man, do you feel like in a strange way, like they probably obviously knew about this project coming into play, right? So, do you think that they really wanted to try to hang on then to be a part of this, to share what they did with you, or you know what I'm trying to say, like your life, basically, their lives.
Yeah. No, my father was in the hospital for a while, and I told him about the documentary being out,
Mm,
and I told him that when he got out of the hospital, I would give him a copy of it because I have an extra copy. Um, he didn't quite make it, but he really he had a big smile on his face when I told him that. And he also said, "Well, I hope it does really well for you." And so, that was nice to hear.
yeah.
But I
Uh,
just wish he could have seen it.
Definitely, definitely. Man, that's so sad. He um he didn't see it last year when I think it was last year. Was it last year? When they gave it out to the oh no, you probably not, sorry. Um they probably
No, I
sent
didn't.
it to you.
They sent it to me a few months ago. I forget exactly when that was, but
Yeah.
it was shortly before my father became ill, so he
Oh,
didn't have a
okay.
chance to see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking if maybe if they had sent it to you, if you were able to show it then, but then I was just like, oh, right, maybe not. So yeah, that's why I
Uh,
wanted to ask.
well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I
I
mean,
I mean, sorry.
I wasn't supposed to show it to anybody, but I mean, I'm sure I could have shown it to him, but he was already in the hospital, so you know.
Mm, that's just life. It seems like, unfortunately.
Well, he
Yeah.
was 92 years old and just 3 weeks shy of his 93rd birthday, so he had a good life, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean, 93, man. I mean, a lot of people probably wish they could make it that long, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
it is. Um, But yeah, Bruce, I get to switch to something different real quick. And once again, I feel so. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm so happy to hear that your dad was at least happy and excited for this release because, I mean, that's
Oh, he was.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Bruce, I guess what I want to do with you now is there anything that you would like to talk about regarding, I don't know, like you kind of mentioned it a little bit, I believe, last time, where you were looking into these subjects, whether it be, the Kinderhook Creature, this white blob. Um, I guess what I want to know is, for you, because of this obviously sparking your interest with writing even and stuff like that, did you do any like boots on the ground yourself back in the day, as far as maybe collecting other people's stories? Because I think you had heard about a story. You were trying to track this person down, but you never could find them.
Um, well, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Um, in,
The white blob, I think.
oh, the Blob. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, there were a couple of guys who supposedly saw that back in 2017,
Yes.
but they've been keeping a very low profile, and I haven't been able to track them down.
Hmm.
And somebody I knew also said, "Well, maybe it was a hoax." Well, maybe it was, but I can't find these guys.
Hmm. You haven't found it on any of these blob blogs, right?
Well, no, I have seen it there. Yes,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
but I don't know, if it's for real. I didn't, it's until
Gotcha.
I actually talk to the people. I'm never going to assume it's real.
Right. Right. Have you, I guess, I guess, going back to the question, and maybe I'll paraphrase it, is like, have you done any of your own research into this yourself, kind of like maybe boots on the ground, or maybe just trying to find these eyewitnesses to maybe um see if there's any similarity with like the stuff that happened to you or anything like that with the subject or subjects?
Well, according to the blog that I read, there were a lot of similarities, including the high pitched whistling sound that was heard first, and the fact they were walking in the woods and they just flew over them. That was actually similar to what happened to my father when he was out on his tractor. That he said some shapeless thing flew over his tractor, and he watched it go over the horizon. So, but again, not being able to find these guys, I can't
Yeah,
verify it.
right. Well, Bruce, it's, I guess, is there anything that you would like to share that we didn't get a chance to talk about last time? Because I mean, again, I know this is like your stories and stuff, but is there anything that you would like to share this time around for us that we didn't get a chance to last time?
Well, I think we covered most everything last time. To me, hey, the thing I keep going back to is the strange little man digging in our field. Um, the more I think about that, the more I think this is what people say when they see fairies. Um,
Right.
you know, I mean, that didn't even occur to me until some time after I experienced this. But I had the impression that I was seeing something I wasn't supposed to see, and what that means, I don't know exactly. But you're probably familiar with Jacques Vallée's books, aren't you? Like Dimensions and Passport to Magonia and all those.
Yeah, you mentioned his name last time too, and I was at first brain farting with the same guy, but yes, I kind of read a little bit of Dimensions, and I need the
Yeah,
passport to um,
Magonia. Yeah,
thank you, yeah, and then something contact with the third or something like that. I can't remember, or maybe it
yeah.
was just called contact.
Well, he's one of my favorite writers in the field. He was the character. He was what the character in Close Encounters was based on. The Frenchman. Uh, you know, if, uh, Jacques Vallée's been around for a very long time. He's in his
Oh
80s
yes.
now,
Yeah,
and
80s, early 90s. Yep.
yeah. But he came up with this theory in Passport to Magonia that UFOs and fairy sightings were essentially part of the same phenomenon, and I find that to be really fascinating. And I think there's something to it. I'm not sure, what it all means,
Hmm.
but I think they may be talking about the same thing here, that they're from the same reality. But that's where my investigations lead me. It's kind of to the outer limits of the strange, but there it is. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, there's an interesting documentary that I just got linked to, which is free on YouTube, I believe. It's called The High Strangeness of Bigfoot. I think that's what it's called.
Uh, okay.
But
Yep.
in this documentary, what I find interesting, or what I did find interesting about it, is the people would get together and they would sit in chairs out in the woods, and they would kind of do the AEIOU like chant, and to kind of become how did they put it, like one mind, like you're all in sync,
Mm-hmm.
and from there you're supposed to basically just keep your eyes closed and just let the environment uh do its thing while you just listen, basically. And I thought that was interesting because it brings up this weird point with the paranormal side, because they were using like a REM pod and a spirit box in one, and plus just regular audio, I'll just say. Uh where, like, with the REM pod, they asked this Bigfoot, or as they put it, really, if they could step closer and make the REM pod alarm go off, and it did. And then they basically told it to step back away from it to so that it's not going off, and it did. So the alarm stopped. But what I just found weird is, like, they kept saying Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff, but to me, it's like, I don't know if I would be calling it that, because if it is, let's just say for the example of this, if it really was in fact just somebody like you and I, Bruce, right, and we're just like, well, we just want attention. Well, I mean, maybe Bruce is the Bigfoot and I'm just the Littlefoot right now, you know. So I would be like, hey, hey Bruce, just go have some fun. You're Bigfoot with this one. It's not like they're gonna know who the hell we are. So just go step in front of it and make it off. So, and I'm not trying to criticize, like, at a bad way of this documentary, but it was just like, I don't know. It was weird. Like, they were trying very hard to basically make it sound like whatever it was a Bigfoot. But what
Hmm.
was odd in some parts, which I will give credit for, is there was some points where it did sound like a couple wood knocks came through, a couple AEIOUs, like something else was trying to mimic what it was they were doing as a chant,
Hmm.
and some other, like, what do they call it? The samurai chatter. There was like some weird stuff like that going on, but you couldn't hear it vocally through, like, the video itself, unless they enhanced the audio, which I thought was
Hmm.
interesting enough. So does that mean they were um dealing with something that was more interdimensional, or something to that effect, like or was it just something else playing a trick on them? I mean, I don't know. I mean, eventually they did say,
Yeah.
we don't know what it was that was actually contacting with us, but whatever it was responding to us calling it Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of that. The closest I ever came to an experience like that, I probably mentioned last time, was when I was, you know, I went out to this place we call Bigfoot Bridge because that's where tracks were found. And it was at night, and I just sat there in my car waiting for something to happen. To, for no particular reason, just decided to go there that night. And then I heard, just as I was about to leave, I heard sound from the woods that was like, it sounded to me like two big monkeys chattering to each other. And, I finally get up the nerve to get out of the car and go across the road toward the woods. And of course, the sound stopped. But at the same time, light came up from the woods, went straight up in the air, and just vanished. You know, like somebody turned out a light bulb. It was just really
Right.
weird.
Yeah, I
So
can't.
I don't know what the connection is.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I mean, uh, speaking of documentaries, Bruce, have you watched that new one that David Paulides did? The American
um,
Sasquatch, man, myth, or
is that
legend, or something.
is that the one that claims that the Patterson film was faked?
No, no,
Is
no.
it that
That
one?
no, that the upcoming, or I think it's upcoming. For all I know, it's called Capturing Bigfoot. That's the one that's supposed to prove
Right,
that
right.
one's fake. No,
Yeah.
American Myth by David Paulides, which is the missing 411 guy. No, he did a thing with a flash of beauty, but in that specific video, because I haven't actually seen American Sasquatch yet, but I've seen this Flash of Beauty one that he did. And what caught me in this video of him, David, is that within the first, I think it was like the first couple seconds of the film, because you know how, um, and if you're on YouTube, you can hover over a video and it plays like a few minutes of the video just to kind of grab your attention to hit that play button. Well,
Right.
it it had David basically mentioning like how he was working on the American Sasquatch documentary, and I forget how he worded it, but he kind of goes, "Well, what if you look at it like this? What if Bigfoot is a fallen angel?" And I'm like, "Huh?" So of course I had to hit
Okay.
play to figure out what just what rabbit hole he just opened up kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um it was definitely a rabbit hole, Bruce. I don't know if you've seen that one too. If not, I'll send you that too afterwards.
No,
But
I haven't seen that. No.
oh man. I like David's work, but man, there's just some stuff where he kind of makes you go, "What?" And then you watch it and you're like, "Yeah,
Mm.
I guess that kind of makes sense." I mean, it kind of made sense to me at the end of it, but at first I was like, "What?" So,
Well, in my book and also in the documentary, I don't claim to know what any of these things are. I mean, I tend to think that the Sasquatch is a biological creature,
hmm
probably related to Gigantopithecus. But I mean, it's a theory, but I don't, I have no way of proving that. And a lot of the stranger theories are beyond any kind of proof. I mean, you couldn't possibly prove. Like, how do you prove something's interdimensional? It's impossible. Um, how do you prove something's a fallen angel? You can't. But it's interesting to talk about. But I don't know what to think of it personally.
right, right, yeah. That's why some of the stuff, man, I get my attention, and then I go into it, and then it does make me ask questions like, "Oh yeah, maybe this could happen" or something like that. But at the end of it all, I mean, I know you kind of just said it in a way, and I'll say it too. Like, I'm not an expert at this. I'm just here to observe what people tell us, and maybe
Mm.
make my own opinion after everything that either I've uh, heard, seen, even though I haven't had my own personal experience, which to me, if I had my own personal experience, then that would probably give me more of a better understanding of what other people are dealing with, like yourself, of like what you and your family went through, and I could better understand what. Meanwhile, like when you tell me what happened, especially with the documentary, I mean, I'll take your word for it, but I mean, because I, from the few times we chatted, Bruce, I mean, there's no way you and I are want to lie to each other because we're both into the subject, but it's like um I mean, especially with the similarities, like with last time, like the red light that we talked about last time. And I think there was
Yep.
something else we talked about where I said, yeah, this reminded me of this time. Maybe it was the zone of fear when I talked about that with the abandoned church. I think there was some sort of zone of fear with you. Oh yeah, it was like, let's get out of here with you and your
Yeah.
homeboy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he like jumped a creek or something. If I'm thinking of the right story,
Jump, jumped across a pond. Yeah.
jump across the pond. Amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe he had angel wings that day. That's how he made that jump, right?
He might have. I don't know.
Hey, man. I mean, I'd like to know his secrets. Maybe he tapped in.
I
Um,
think the secret is being 12 and scared. That's what the secret is.
totally, dude. Because once that adrenaline kicks in, you're
Yeah.
you're you're gone. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, Bruce. So I mean, what do you I think we kind of delved into this last time, but now just for like another fresh take, but after all these years of stuff, whether it happened to you or listening to other people's stories, like what do you, in your, I guess, your own opinion, what do you think is going on in this universe around us?
Well, that's a loaded question.
I apologize.
I imagine, no, I imagine things are going on that we can't possibly comprehend. The more that we look into the universe with the Hubble telescope and all the, you know, I mean,
Mm,
going around the moon now, and we can see in farther into space than we've ever seen. The stranger we find space to be, and the universe could harbor anything. I mean, we don't even know for sure what consciousness is. We don't know what creates consciousness, and there is a current theory that consciousness came first and created the universe. So, I mean, you could talk about rabbit holes. I mean, this is like a rabbit cave. You can go down this for miles and miles and get completely turned around. But that's what fascinates me about all of this. I mean, Jacques Vallée, for example, he's a very intelligent guy. He's an astrophysicist, and his theory is not that fairies and aliens are identical. His theory is that they come from the same kind of reality, and what that reality is, whether it's another dimension or even another universe, we
mm,
don't know. But there's something to both of those legends, if you want to call them that. And
right.
it's been going on for thousands of years, probably as long as people have been alive, and probably even longer. So, you know, when we figure out what all those things are, I'll get back to you. But otherwise, I have no idea.
No, I don't blame you there. No, I'm just curious. Like when you just mentioned the moon, for some weird reason, I went right back to when I heard about. They called it or dubbed it the Dark Moon mission, where they supposedly found like a hidden base on the moon, and
Yeah,
what was the other one? Mars, I think, had like some sort of ancient society that once lived there or something. Like it's
mm,
it's just interesting because when they say that there's pictures of this, but sometimes when you look at it, it's like really pixelated. So it's almost like,
Yeah.
is it the pixels playing a trick on you, or just literally something there?
Well, it's hard to say, but I mean, I can tell you that. Well, first of all, I'm an old enough geezer to
Oh,
remember
stop it!
the the first time that we landed on the moon back in 1969. I was a teenager, and to me, that was the most amazing thing because I was watching it on television, and when Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon, and then after the broadcast was over, I went outside and I looked up at the moon, and it
Mm.
happened to be a full moon that night. And I just thought to myself, wow, there are people walking around up there. And that to me was just the most amazing thing I'd ever experienced. So,
It makes
and that was for
it,
real.
mm. Oh, you don't buy into that the moon landing was fake?
No, I don't. No, do not.
um, this is an off-topic question, but now because of you witnessing that, Bruce, do you recall when that was on TV? Did they mention like how they were able to get that live footage
Um,
or
well,
stream it?
uh,
Sorry,
well, in those days they didn't have streaming exactly. It was just it was broadcast.
how that
Same
worked
way
then.
same way analog television was always broadcast, which was you know pictures go to the air. But yeah, I mean it was in the same broadcast in the same technology that they used for satellite broadcast back then. You know,
Oh, yep, satellite.
um, so I mean they set up the camera and then they you know walked out on the moon. But no, I have no doubt that that was for real. And I mean they brought back moon rocks, didn't they? So
Yes. And didn't I hear some of these moon rocks disappeared or something? I mean, maybe
I
not,
heard
but
something about that. Some may have, I don't know. But there's still other ones that you can look at. I think in the Smithsonian or somewhere.
hmm oh yeah, maybe that's
So
what I'm thinking of then. Or you know what I'm thinking of?
mm,
Probably I'm going back to I think it was the third Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Maybe is when they were talking about this the strange mineral rock. I think that might be what I'm talking
mm,
about. Completely different,
oh,
obviously, but
maybe
yeah. Well, it's the
not
one that
sure.
can like change shapes and forms because it's like a different metal or something. I don't remember.
Oh well, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Um, but Bruce, you know, what do you? I mean, obviously, we're all not going to be able to see everything happen in our lifetime. But for you, what would be one thing that would be most important to you that we could achieve in this lifetime that you would like to see happen, as far as the whole phenomena goes?
Oh, I was gonna say world peace, but
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
sometimes I think that's a phenomenon. You know, it just doesn't seem real sometimes. But
uh, yeah.
no, what I would like to see, as far as Sasquatch goes,
hmm
um, I would love to see that it's officially discovered and uh, categorized by scientists. I mean that they find a living specimen and it can finally be acknowledged as a real thing and not just a myth. That's what I'd like to see on that topic. And UFOs, I think it seems to me that we're coming closer to finding out what they are, or at least to finding out that they're for real. Um, I mean, with the Pentagon, admitting that it's a real phenomenon, I don't think you can go back and say it's not. Um, but I don't think we know exactly what they are. We're just, we're finally acknowledging that they're real.
Right. Right. Yeah. On that note, then, there's a new movie coming out called Disclosure from Steven
Yeah,
Spielberg, which I'm looking forward to
Disclosure
that.
Day. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, I don't know. Do you think we'll ever see Disclosure?
Um, that depends on our government. I mean, are they going to tell us the real truth, or are they going to hide it? I don't know. I've been hearing about disclosure for about 30 years now, and I'd love to see it happen. Um, I'll keep my fingers crossed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah. If my dad was still alive, I bet from what we had happened with what we have gotten, even though it was seems to be the same stuff we already knew. But hey, it's a start. I'll let that slide in that aspect. But I remember my dad even telling me something way back in the day when I was young about uh like a UFO story. Something about I don't know if he saw it or if he just heard about it, but he uh used to tell me besides the Sasquatch story that he may have had is that he remembers like a UFO taking a cow away and just taking off with
Mm,
it. And so I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, like, all right, Dad, like, whatever. Too much sci-fi movies or whatever. Maybe too much Star Trek for all I know. But then as I got older, I learned about here in Vermont, there was an old farm, I think down south, where this farmer's cows, like all of them, were like electrocuted to death. But how though,
mm,
or something to that
mm,
aspect? And it was just like, how is that even happening? And so then I
mm.
remember my dad's story, and I'm like, huh, maybe there is more that meets the eye. And then Ancient Alien came out, and of course I delved into that back in
Yeah.
what would that be, 2009, and yeah, made my
Mm,
eyes kind of open up a little bit more. Besides what I sort of learned with like school, and what I mean by that is like ancient Egyptian, because there's still some weird fascination there, even for me, of how the pyramids were made. I don't really believe all the things that I hear that they were somehow that smart and credibility, especially when you hear like Egypt and that other country that's like 300 miles away, how they almost had the identical layout of a pyramid or something like that. Like that just,
mm.
and they didn't communicate back and forth. Like that just always bugged the crap out of me that they said that um, they never communicated. It's like, well, something had to teach them how to do this because it wasn't just
Mm.
all, hey, we're just gonna do this. At least that's my own opinion.
Well, it is strange that, yeah, that so many different ancient civilizations had very similar structures. Um, and I don't know how that would happen. I mean, in South America, they had pyramids as well. So that
Right.
was thousands of miles away from Egypt. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Is that is South? If you remember, Bruce, I'm trying to remember myself, but is South Africa the place where they found that one sculpture? Do I want to say or glyph maybe where it looked like there was like somebody riding a rocket or like inside of a rocket?
Uh, that was in uh, that was in South America, I think.
Oh, that was South
Uh,
America.
it was, or it might have been the Aztecs. I think it was the Aztecs actually that had that petroglyph. Yeah, very interesting.
Petroglyphs. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when Ancient Aliens was describing like, yeah, if you look closely, it's like a guy sitting down, like his hand like on a lever or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. This world is always strange to me, and that's why I sometimes love it, and then sometimes it's like, well, I kind of want to know like more to it though, you know. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Well,
Um,
I kind of go along with the way Charles Fort thought, where I just
ooh,
kind of gather the information
and
and
run with it.
share share my experiences,
Yep.
and leave it up to you to decide what's going on.
Uh, yeah, that's not a bad idea either, Bruce. And on that note, Bruce, I don't want to take any more of your time tonight. I just figured, we could get back together, chat a little bit. It's been a very honorable pleasure again to chat with you because I mean you're a good dude. You've gone through a lot. You now get to see this uh, baby that you helped create come to fruition and see it. And unfortunately, rest in peace to both your parents that could not have seen the final product, but at least they knew that it was going to be coming out and they were both in it. And like you said, they're now immortalized in it, just like your grandmother, which I wouldn't surprise me if they are just happy and filling up your house with love and everything just because they're so happy that their stories can be told and be told as years go on.
Well, thank you for saying all that, and yeah, I think so too. I agree. They're up there somewhere enjoying this.
I hope so, Bruce. And on before I let you go, is there any project that you are actually working on? Are you writing anything? Are you working on anything yourself?
Well, I'm always writing something. I write a lot for Hammer Films in England. I write booklets for their Blu-rays, and
Are
this
they?
this is a this is a company that I grew up with. You know, Hammer Films made the classic Dracula,
Yes.
Frankenstein, all
They're
those
still
things.
around.
So,
Not to cut you off, but they're still around. Oh my
oh
God, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yep. And so I'm working for them, which has been kind of a lifelong dream. Um,
Amazing.
so there's that, and I've got this film coming out called Black Easter, and the documentary. I mean, everything is pretty good in that respect. So
That's awesome.
I'm getting older, but I'm not slowing down.
I hope not, man. You got a lot more to do. um,
I do, I do.
yeah. Just when Black Easter starts getting closer to release, just keep me informed. I'd love to watch it.
Oh, I will, and I'm posting pictures of it on Facebook like all the time now, so people don't forget it.
Well, with the way social media is nowadays with the algorithms, I mean, I may have missed the post and may not. So, I mean, maybe I just might have to start typing in your name and searching for you that way just to keep up with it.
Well, I'll make sure you see some of these. Don't worry.
Sounds good, my friend. Well, Bruce, is always a pleasure. If you want to chat cryptids or something or just whatever in general, man, if you just want to talk paranormal, everything, just, you know, reach out and we'll have a conversation together.
Well, the pleasure is mine, and anytime. Yep.
Sounds good, Bruce. And for everybody else listening, again, you know what? Before I sign off, so yeah, so these two things right here, the book and the movie, the documentary is now available once again on smalltownmonsters.com. The book can be anywhere actually, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Amazon, smalltownmonsters.com, basically wherever books are sold, from what I heard. If you want a physical, just smalltownmonsters.com is the only way you're going to get it on physical. Otherwise, it is streaming everywhere. So make sure you do that. Support Bruce and Small Town Monsters. And once again, I am not sponsored or getting paid to say this. I just think it's an incredible film, and I'll die on the hill saying that. So, for everybody else, take care and God bless.